Hello, my name is Pickles, and today I will be going to the end of all. Now, you may ask, what is it that I mean by the end of all? Well, my cum guzzlers and bum buddies, yesterday, while I was fucking drunken bums, something strange had happened. You see, I was in an alley, fucking a bum in the mouth, who smelled of decades-old, rancid urine and dried shit crammed between the holy trios of the two butt cheeks and the anus like blurd 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 blurd. Wow, your missing teeth really make you good at sucking cock blurd 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 blurd, except for that one tooth in the middle blurd blurd blurd. But it's really stimulating, how it's scratching my penis blurd blurd blurd. Okay, now, here comes the cum swah 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 swah. Egg, that was swell. The bum slides off my cock and gurgles thank you for the dinner, before he passes out and drifts into slumber. Just as the next bum would bend over for my cheeks, I see a dark figure come out of the shadows, wearing a strange cloak. He stops just where the light from the single lamp lighting up the dark alley and the darkness meet, and whispers to me, Pickles, do you want to see the end of all? I promise you, it will be unlike anything you have seen. You will be able to see the end. Suspiciously I hold him at cock point, and say, normally I love taking up offers from ominous, hooded sexy men so they can rape my ass, before I rape their faces, but I get the feeling this is something else. Yes, he whispers, with emphasis in the S at the end, before he holds up his hand which is covered in a black glove, clutching an old ticket. Take this, Pickles, and go to the abandoned cinema in Manhattan, in the Crossroads Avenue. I hold out and grab the ticket, pulling it towards me, and just as I look back at the cloaked guy, he's already gone without a noise. I will suspiciously, as rain begins to fall from the pitch-black sky. So today night, I will put away my trousers serpent, and leave for Manhattan. Getting to the place the cloaked man spoke of, I will find the cinema. It will be a really ominous-looking, decayed cinema. The front will be completely decayed and broken down, with the letters of the last movie played there, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, being barely readable. I'll walk in the front, only to find the place completely dead and void of life, just as a lightning strike hits the building, and suddenly the lights turn on. I will immediately notice a bunch of passed-out faggot hipsters and drug-addicted liberals on the floor, completely covered in syringes and picketing signs, calling for the immediate assassination of Donald Trump and the legalization of crack cocaine. The lightning strike will have awakened the hipster faggots, and they will get up and look at me angrily. One of them, who happens to be none other than George Cicarillo Mayer, the faggot university professor calling for white genocide, will come up to me and say, "What the fuck are you doing here, you fucking Trump-loving faggot?" Then I'll be like, "What?" Mayer will point to my feet, and only then will I notice that I had a Make America Great Again hat stuck on my shoe. I will just brush it off and wave my shoulders, and ask, "I'm looking for the end of all. Do you know what that is supposed to mean?" But then the professor will holler loudly, which will cause the huge wave of druggies and bums to rush towards me. Suddenly the theater rooms will all have their doors blown off their hinges, and an army of Antifa members clad in black clothing, with morphine syringes still jutting out of their butts and veins, as well as a truckload of alt-right Nazis, will rush towards me in a drug-induced anti-Trump rage, and try to bash my head in with their baseball bats and dildos. Just as I pull my cock out, I will be flabbergasted by the presence of Nazis and Antifa acting in common, and I'll shout, "Stop!" and ask, "What the fuck? Why the fuck are you Antifa communists and alt-right Nazis working together?" Then Mayer will hold up his hand to stop the onslaught, and he will say, "As much as we hate and despise Nazis, we realized in the end that we want the exact same thing, to hurt the people we hate, and to spread our hatred whilst oppressing everyone. So we've decided we'll hate white gay cis men like you and the government, because we Antifa hate white men, and Nazis hate gays, and we both want to establish a totalitarian, oppressive regime, where we can oppress everyone and slaughter millions, so it's a win-win. All for the extermination of white gay cis men. Bash this anti-Nazi and anti-communist prick." Then the anti-flying Nazi army will lunge at me, but I'll just use my dick to enter bullet time, and using my homosexual, cat-like reflexes, I will evade about a dozen blows and swings with knives, axes, bats and fists, before I end up behind the crowd of Nazis and Antifa, and I shove my dick up the ass of every male in the corridor, like using your titties, your bats, and your picketing signs, as dildo sound, bashing all the wider than tall femi-Nazi Antifa with my cock. Like bash 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 bash. Good. Now the females are dead. Now suck my cock, you fags. Ouch. That syringe that was stuck in your colon just punctured my cock. I hope it doesn't get AIDS. Okay, now here comes the cum swah 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 swah. Egg, that was swell. my tidal wave of cum will flush the anti-thawing the Nazis out of the theater like a nice bowel movement cleaning the body of waste, and I'll pull out my ticket and find the room it's addressed to. I will see that the door for the theater room is locked with a rather modern-looking mechanism that will require me to insert my ticket. I will do so, and the door will open silently. A strange silence will fill the corridor as I walk towards the seats and take my place at the top. For a while, nothing will happen, and I'll just listen to the sound of rain dripping on some of the seats from the ceiling that looks like it's just about to collapse on me, when suddenly a projector will fire up, and a movie will start playing. I will see the title screen for Paul Blart 3, The End of All, when I will ask, what the fuck? There were only 2 Paul Blart movies made, and each of them sucked more dick than I did my entire life. Fuck this movie isn't the swell type of gay, it's just fucking gay. I'm out of here. Then, just as I'd get up, suddenly I'll feel lightheaded, and drop back to the seat. The movie will start playing, and it'll be really strange. Suddenly a vista of an empty, Mars-like world will pop up, and I'll see Paul Blart riding on a Segway into a pristine-looking mall standing in the middle of the red desert. Then just before I'd stand up again, I'll see that I too am in said desert, sitting on the seat I was on back in the cinema. I'll be like, what the fuck, before I stand up and look at Paul Blart riding into his mall in the distance. Something will be off about his appearance, but he'll be too far to tell what it is. I will begin walking towards the mall, when I notice that the air is surprisingly thin here, and that the cloud formations in the sky are weird. I will see giant salt dunes in the distance, and the terrain will be mountainous and rocky in the distance, with a faint puddle of water visible afar. Walking up to the entrance of the mall, I will immediately bump into a line of sand niggers, with their undergarments made of plastic explosives. Homeless people with their bags filled with poop-covered possessions. Bleeding-hearted, white-belted liberals with lots of white guilt, calling for the extermination of all the white bums in the line, because they consider them to be too privileged to be bums. Feminist Andrea Dworkin-type feminazis, who are calling on all the white liberals to be emasculated, shaved, sterilized, and then destroyed, for there to be gender equality in this line. Rabid alt-right Nazis with their Kakistan flags and Peep the Frog t-shirts, who are all fat as fuck and smell of piss and shit. Autistic neckbeards with their My Little Pony plushies and rainbow-dash-themed blue fedoras, along with their Sonic shirts they wear under their black leather coats. This all, despite it being humid and hot as fuck here. Illegal immigrants from Europe, who are bitching and moaning that they have no internet here in this strange world, and want to blow up every single person who doesn't support the Islamic State in blowing up the mall and thus killing everyone. Adult babies with their soiled diapers, who all belong to the Adult Baby Communist Party led by none other than that twisted sick fuck Richard Kula, who want to force all parents to never toilet train their children, and with bloated, sagging diapers with a green tint from all the bile overflowing in it. Bile so green that Kurt Johnson's liver suffers a fatal bile duct congestion, and it explodes out of his chest with the force of a small nuke, causing him to die face first on the table, where he's writing this, before he suddenly responds like in a video game, and continues with his work. I will stand in line for what seems like the time since any good PC games came out that weren't overflowing with shitty politics and propaganda, but is actually less than the time it takes for some stupid anti-whatever group to turn into the very thing they despise and hate. I will pull out my cock and begin jerking off to a very swell, juicy and sweet fantasy of I am bending over, stretching his skinny butt wide, and accepting all 300 miles of my mastodontic cock up his butt, like now, for an old fart you're really tight. Okay, now suck my junk blurb. I know you have trouble reading, so I'll tell you what that long-ass tattoo of small text is on my cock blurb is a list of all the STDs you just caught from me. Now time to switch back to you swell, tight little butt. Okay, now here comes the cumulative. But just as I jizz all over the place, suddenly one of the sand niggers will turn around and say to me, Jerpuorio sick fuck or baswarepko faggot or pure upon hearing the magic words that call forth the rage of group Pickles. I will then grab my dick and shove it down the throat of the sand nigger, who will just have enough time to shout Allahu Akbar, before I silence him forever, and I grab the detonator from his hand whilst also tearing off his arm, and use it, as Dildis like wow, I almost pressed the button with that. Malignant tumor in my sigmoid colon good. My digestive juices just dissolved that okay, now suck my cock Is that an Islamic State shirt under your jacket? Using your shirt as Dildis now time to fuck your ass. Okay, now time to turn you white. Egg, that was swell. Then all the other faggots in the line will lunge at me, But before I could pull out of the sand nigger and rape them, the angry line will suddenly stop and break apart in the middle, and the unholy abomination known as Mama Robotnik will come out and say, "Group Pickles, you shall not take the end of all from me, you fucking white cis male faggot. I will rape your ass with my clipped dork, bringing gender equality to this line by wiping out all rapist white cis males. Let's get him." The crowd of faggots and losers will lunge at me, but I'll just grab my cock, bash Mama Robotnik aside, and using my mastodontic, 300-mile-long cock, I will proceed to shove it up the asses of all the males in the line, and fuck their asses. Bashing all the females in the line, like bash 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 bash. Good, now all the feminists are dead. But just as I proceed with raping the 100 males stuck on my dick, from underneath the mass of corpses and gore, Mama Robotnik will rise up, as the bodies roll off of her immense, massive body. She will walk up to me, and say, "Group Pickles, I am indestructible. I am the very essence of lesbian anti-white cis male hatred. I will not rest, until I have sliced your penis off with a scissor to make all women equal, which is really just to satisfy my hatred of men for rejecting me for being a horrible human being who abuses others. I tell myself it's just because I'm more massive and rounder than a fucking gas giant, which is what most feminazis think is why people hate them." Then she will pull up her dress, revealing a ginormous, 600 miles long clit that looks more like a huge dick. The sight of this will cause me to scream at the top of my lungs like she will lunge towards me, and I'll use my homosexual, cat-like reflexes to dodge her clipped dork just in time to avoid swallowing it entirely. Having had enough of her shenanigans, I will jump up, land in the ground, sending a cloud of red dust into the air, as I collect gay energy from all the victims still stuck on my cock, clenching my fists. Letting out a loud grunt, my muscles will expand to twice their size, and so will my cock, as I absorb those stuck on my cock, before I jump back up into the air again with the supersonic speed of a jet fighter, and I fly high into the sky. I will then grab my legs under my thighs and aim my butthole straight at Mama Robotnik, before I shout, "Faggot so wave." In my colon, the most powerful force of all times will amass with a painful bowel movement, as light begins to shine from my ass, blinding Mama Robotnik, who will be standing on the ground, staring up. Mama Robotnik will cover her eyes, and scream, "No, you damn you Drew Pickles." Then the gigantic, black dildo of death, almost 12 meters wide and 5 times as long will burst out of my asshole with the speed of light, heading straight for the blinded Mama Robotnik, who will only see it coming when it's already too late. She will scream before a gigantic explosion rumbles the atmosphere and causes some of the nearby desolate, red mountains to partially crumble and suffer avalanches. I will fall down, and land in my feet, as I see just a giant rust-colored dust cloud where Mama Robotnik once was. As the cloud of dust dissipates, the form of Mama Robotnik impaled mouth to butthole on the giant black dildo of death stuck in the ground will become visible. In Mama Robotnik's face an expression of total comedic horror and agony will be visible, as her jaw is stretched so wide by the dildo that her teeth are several meters apart from each other. I will just grunt with pride as I walk into the mall, which is still pristine and standing perfectly. All the stores will be completely empty and void of life, but the place will be totally clean and kept tidy. I will walk by a store with the Valve logo above it, and inside, behind the counter will be sitting none other than Gabe Newell. I will walk up to him and ask, "What the fuck are you doing here? I killed you in Kirk Johnson's previous video. Kirk Johnson goes to Valve Software. Anyway, what the fuck are you doing here? What is this place?" Then Gabe Newell will stand up and say, "You're just in time, Drew. Your questions will be answered once you reach the central shopping area. Paul Blart will tell you everything. As for me, all my greed and wealth from Valve Software allowed me to come here, but looking back now, I would rather I actually did something useful with my resources, rather than wasting it on making more money off of gambling scams in our shitty multiplayer games. Normally I would just rape Gabe Newell, but right now I'm too excited to find out what this is all about, so I will just stick my dick down his throat, and speed rape him like blurb 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 swah 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 swah. Egg, that was swell. I will leave Gabe Newell gaping openly and begging for more, as I make my way for the central shopping area. This spot will be completely stripped down and empty, save for a podium in the middle and some church chairs in front of it filled with random people. In the podium will be none other than Paul Blart, standing with his back to me. He will be looking at a projection of a window, where the sunlight is shining through a tree's leaves. I will calmly sit down on one of the seats, and only then will I notice that the others sitting there with me are none other than Kirk Johnson himself, Ratchet and Clank, Adam Jensen from Deus Ex, Gordon Freeman and Adrian Shepard, Alex Jones and Ziggy Pop sitting side by side sharing loving looks whilst stroking each other's hands. Suddenly Paul Blart will begin speaking, without turning towards us. So, since everyone is here, I would like to welcome you all to the end of all. Then he will turn towards us, revealing that his form is twisted, almost unrecognizable, just like it is in the picture of Kurt Johnson's YouTube video. I will stand up, point my finger at him, and ask, "What the fuck is this? Why the fuck did you bring us here?" Then Paul Blart will sigh deeply, and say, "Drew, I brought you here to the end of all, the place where all known things in this world come to an end, so we may begin anew in a new world, a better world. I brought you to the end of all life in the universe, the last livable planet around the last burning star, just before all life becomes impossible. We came here to start again, to start from the beginning. And for that, I need your gay energy, to fuck me as hard as you can, so I can become more powerful and reboot the cycle." I will be just standing there with a dumb look on my face, before I ask, "What?" "It is true, Drew. You're the key to all of this. I will, with your help, restart everything, so we may live again, better, without all the vile feminazis and sick fucks you just killed outside." I will at first be completely dumbfounded, and ask, "What will become of me then?" "You will be who you will be. We are our choices." Then without further ado, I will jump up onto the podium, and bend the twisted, fucked up Paul Blart over, and rip my mastodontic, 300-mile-long cock through his jeans, and rape his ass like wow, I feel something wow, what is that weird light? Suddenly, the ground will begin rumbling, as I continue to fuck Paul Blart in the ass like what is that close surrounding you, you swell faggot? Using your said way, like tilde sound. Okay, now here comes the cumulative. Swa 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 swa. Egg, that was. But just before I could finish my golden line, Paul Blart will emit a blinding, warm white light. Just before it envelopes the entire mall in the blazing light, I will see my body disintegrate into atoms, as my consciousness survives, and I am enveloped in pure white light. For a moment I will float in pure light, before the light fades out. The next moment, I will wake up in my bed in a warm sunny day, with the sunlight from the windows shining onto my face. I'll get out of bed and walk into the kitchen, wondering if all I saw was just a dream, before suddenly the bathroom door will burst open, and out, if it will walk the big fat fucking manager, and ask, "What the fuck is going on here?" I will see that the manager is none other than George Soros, the billionaire Nazi collaborator prick behind Open Society, and a bunch of other non-governmental organizations bent in undermining legitimate governments. He will be covered in a thick layer of shit and piss, and he'll be staring at me with soulless, black eyes without irises, and say, "You fucking asshole, all my non-governmental organizations are gone, and the Rockefellers and Rothschilds are also nowhere to be found. I have lost my powers, and my Nazi and communist state groups are missing, but you're still here. What the fuck did you do?" I will stare at him, and realize suddenly that Paul Blart's plan had worked. I will smile softly, before I rip my dick through my underpants and send it straight down the throat of George Soros. Soros will try to dematerialize into a pile of disgusting cockroaches, but having lost his powers, he will be completely at my mercy. I will then proceed to rape the shit out of George Soros, like looks like you are fucked, you vile scumbag, a world without Rothschilds and Rockefellers, that would be interesting, okay now time to finish what I couldn't do last time, so time to fuck your ass, okay now, here comes the cumulative. Swa 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 swa. Egg, that was swell. And then George Soros will be blown off my cock with the force of a rocket, as he flies straight into the toilet bowl, and gets stuck. I will walk up to the toilet and pull the lever, flushing the now dead George Soros down into the sewers. Walking outside, I will notice opposite of the bathroom a picture of Paul Blart in my wall, smiling softly and proudly. Wow, that was so cum-guzzlingly, George Soros rapingly, trippingly swell. I think I will go do all that right now. See you later my sexy faggots.